Hi, everyone. Welcome back and happy Thursday. Okay, so this has been a week. I have been sharing with you guys my little adventure over here in Hilton Head. We have not had snow on the island, I guess, since 2017. I say we like I was here. I was not. But this island is definitely not built for it. So we have bridges coming on and off the island, completely shut down. I do not trust myself driving a car, period, in the best of conditions. So I've been posting on social where yesterday I walked 5 miles for a breakfast sandwich because I cannot cook. And everybody thought it was comical. And I'm like, no, this is actually for real, guys. And I'm sorry, I'm just really bad at it. But I thought it was kind of funny, actually comical. And I saw so many comments, and I love you guys. I appreciate you. And I'm sending all of the love to the Adams family first and foremost, because while some people are here and they're suffering in the cold and their pipes are freezing over in California, we're dealing with so many things like the wildfires. Things are happening all over the place. And I think that's why it's important to jump on here and talk about things that sort of give us escapism, like last night's Real Housewives of Salt Lake City reunion part 1. Yeah, we have a lot to discuss. I have a lot of theories, a lot that I want to sort of address. And this is only part 1. I'm not going to lie. I'm ready to get through the third part. But before we get into it, I would love for all of you guys in the live chat. One, I pinned a message at the top. If you guys want to check out our new CBD product below, you're more than welcome. We would love you to. And if you've already received your package and you got your 15% off, please leave us a review. Ashley got hers and she said that, well, I'll let her speak for herself. And yeah, I also want you guys to let us know where you're watching from and what you thought of last night's episode by rating it 1 to 10, 10 being the highest. So with that, let's welcome our girl Ashley from tasteofreality.com. Here we go. Hello.
Good morning. Hope you're keeping warm.
Oy. I have been, you know what's so funny, Ashley, about this little island?
What's
And
up?
I cannot wait for you and Amani to come visit. I know you guys want to come to Charleston. I would love to steal you guys down here. It's only an hour and a half drive. Today I walked to Starbucks. It was, I think, 1.2 miles, and I was sliding all over the snow, and I don't have snow boots, so I was in my Nikes and trying to like muck through it. Feet were frozen. Okay, cool. Jason's like, you're crazy. I had at least 4 people who pulled over and they're like, Adam, let us give you a ride. I'm like, no, I want to walk. Adam, please get in the car. I'm like, I'm not allowed to get in the car with strangers. Adam, please let us take you home. No. But it was just, it's funny. It's really a sense of community. And just like this, it's something that as time passes, I've grown more and more to appreciate that, you know?
No, I love that. Yeah, no, I love hearing the sense of community there, and your community is just so beautiful. I just love the way the houses are built. I've never been to that side of the country as an adult. So Imani and I, I'll be turning 45 this year, and Imani's going to be turning 30, and we're both Tauruses at the opposite ends of the spectrum. So we're hoping to meet in the middle and do a little tripsy.
Uh-oh. And like I said, we had, especially if you guys come down here, I have space for you, and I would love to host our Taste of Reality girls. But
oh, that would be so fun.
now, also getting into it, Ashley, last night was the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City reunion part 1, 1 to 10. What are we giving it?
I'd say like a good 7.5, 8. Like, it wasn't groundbreaking or anything, but I had a lot of fun watching the episode. It was a solid episode. It's part 1, so I feel like we're expecting a crescendo by the end, and I love a build.
You know what I honestly did not understand yesterday? Can we just jump right into, if you gave it a 7.5, I would probably give it right under and give it a 7.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what I didn't really understand was the fact that we literally kicked this off, and I think within like the first 30 minutes, we welcomed the husbands out.
That was interesting.
I don't think we've ever done that.
I don't think so either. We usually get them, I would say typically in part 3, if not maybe the end of part 2, but usually it's at the very end. It was about the husbands.
I mean, I was surprised that we got them before we got Brittany Bateman.
Where's Britney, B? Like, I am ready for some Britney.
I understand what they did here in this situation. I feel like because at the end of the day, it is a business and they are paying Britney per episode that she appears on. So they would have to pay her if she was in all 3 reunion parts. And obviously they didn't think that she was necessary for that. But she is so wild and free with the tongue and just like comes off with some off the wall stuff that I would have actually really enjoyed her just being on the couch the whole time.
When she comes out, if she does not come out singing, I'm not that girl from Wicked, I'm going to be so disappointed. Her singing Instagrams are chaotic. But can I just say, she's good with a camera. Like, she knows how to do TikTok way better than I know how to do TikTok. But girlfriend thinks she's like recording the back of a chair. Like, her TikTok ability versus her playing dumb in that Sprinter van. Like, girl, you got to pick a side.
You know, that's funny too, because it goes back to the you can't play smart and stupid at the same time. This doesn't add up. And, you know, to piggyback off of what you're saying too with Britney, it's like her going through the airport and singing these things and laying on the luggage carousel and just being like so extra. I'm not a world traveler. You know, my first time to Europe was last Christmas. Jason and I, we took our moms for a Christmas trip, and it was 10 days or something like that with one of our best friends. It was the most incredible trip. It was amazing. But Jason was telling me in Europe a lot of times that Europeans look at Americans like we're really obnoxious and we're loud and we're just all over the place and we need attention. And then I'm looking at Britney and I'm like, you were probably one of those people that go over there, because I'm sure she has been, and they're like, American. For sure, 1,000,000%. She is American.
Mm-hmm.
Has to be.
Yeah, 100. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
It's, I think, very fun to watch. But like, as she was like sitting down in her airplane seat, which could have been very well been 17C. It did appear she was flying coach, relatable. But yeah, imagine being the person in 20C or the person in 17D. People are sitting next to you and you're singing Wicked songs. I'm not mad.
I'm not mad at you, Britney.
But I can turn my TikTok off.
Yeah. You can't turn her off on the plane.
No.
Some people are just like, shut up.
Right.
Please. But
right.
It's okay. It's okay, Britney. We're here for it. You know, like those people will go on, and now we're still here talking about it. Last night watching the episode, who was your favorite as far as dressed?
I think that it was a beautiful color palette. I think Angie 1000% took my breath away, but I do remember Bronwyn's outfit from Carly Kloss. I'm a big oh my God, I can't even think of the word, Project Runway. It's been so long. Project Runway fan. So I definitely remember
Met Gala dress.
Yeah. But no, I go for Angie. How about you?
Honestly, and I know people are going to be shocked by this, I think Whitney.
That dress is stunning.
I think it's very Jessica Rabbit. It's very
ooh, good comparison.
Yeah, I think it's very classy. I think it's elegant. I think she looks stunning. I think.
Well, she is like a human sex kitten. Like, she just like is very like, I don't know. I bet she's a lot of fun, if you know what I mean.
Oh, well, apparently based off of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives and Sold on SLC and The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, I don't think speakeasies are the only thing that we are hiding.
Yeah, they're doing a whole lot more than just soaking the hot dog. I'm sorry, that was so vulgar. That's a mother. I apologize. I'm going to take it back right now. That is a mother, and that was gross, and I am sorry.
Well, also, the way that we kick off the episode, I told you before we even came on here, it took an entire 3 minutes into the episode to roll the phone call. And I was like, oh, here we go.
Right. Okay. And I just I didn't have a ton of time. I have family in town right now. I watched the episode and I left watching the episode saying, wow, I feel like it was Bravo that did you dirty. Even in the end, they maintained that edit.
Yeah. Well, and I just said to you, you said, which I thought that this was kind of funny because
Maybe naive.
I think that you're probably wrong on it, and that's okay. And I
Uh-huh.
could be wrong. You were like, well, at least Adam, it's over. I'm like, oh, this is not over.
But like, really, what's there more to tell? She doesn't sell Alibaba jewelry. She said it. I believe her. They both just sat in an impasse. If no one's going to provide receipts, and I think the whole receipts thing is tacky, necessary at times, but at this point, like, who cares? Really, where else is there to go? Like, what else is there to say? Who started the rumor? Who cares?
Well, the thing that I didn't understand, there were a few things, and I talked to Jason about this this morning because we watched it last night, and I'm just trying to pull up this photo for you guys. When we talked about it last night, Jason was like, well, I'm not quite understanding the story that Whitney is telling. And I'm going to kind of break this down. Vicky Harnish, hey, Adam got upgraded to Adam, the blogger. They didn't say Adam.
They did say blogger, though, and blogger is like such a bad word. And like, I think podcaster is probably like a higher regarded phrase than blogger. So did they upgrade you or downgrade you? Maybe I'm reading into that wrong. Maybe we're thinking more about that than them. But yeah, they're still not saying YouTuber, because where are we right now?
You know what? I think that, oh, they did say Adam in the replay. Okay.
Oh, nice.
Okay. I mean, sure, I guess. Stephanie, you just wait until next year at BravoCon. Adam, they're coming for you. Guys, I can say very confidently and not just ignorantly or like, oh my God, I dare you. But I can tell you, and I think Ashley can attest to this, if I ever am put into a situation where I have to hold my own, I have no problem doing that. So BravoCon for me will not be a thing. It will be a thing as I am going, but it won't be a thing like, oh my God, I'm going to be mulled over. No, my God, I can hold my own. Don't worry, you guys.
Right.
Absolutely. But
I might be there, and like I might be Mariah Carey and you might be Jennifer Lopez, and I might need to be like, I don't know her.
That's evil.
Like, I don't know her.
I kind of feel, you know, what's funny is Jason asked me last night, he's like, why do they keep calling you the podcaster or the blogger? And I said, I kind of put myself in what Whitney said about Bronwyn in last night's episode. She's like, I feel like you didn't want to claim me as a friend. And I feel like for this situation, it was shady on Bravo. Guys, I see you. I know exactly what you did. You didn't want to give me any credibility with my name. You didn't want to say exactly what I did. You didn't want to give me a proper title. We all know. They know from the Jen Shaw, so many other things. This is not the first rodeo. I understand the shade, and I think it's fun, it's silly, it's a part of the game, and it's nothing to be mad about. If I sat there and I got upset about every little thing and picked it apart, then what are we doing? Because again, this is supposed to be escapism. But last night, watching when Andy Cohen ended up having Whitney address the Alibaba situation, that story to me did not make sense. So do you want to give me like what your opinion was first, or do you want me to go into it?
I don't know what didn't make sense. I'm anxious to hear what you said, because she said everything, and like, I don't know. I'm just a person who has a tendency to believe people until I have reason not to believe them. And like everything.
Yeah.
I mean, sounded legit to me. So I mean, honestly, I was ready to put the whole thing to bed, but I'm anxious to hear your perspective on this, because obviously your POV is very important here.
Well, and I also agree. I'm excited to put this to bed. But guys, 500 in the room, smash the like button. What didn't make sense to me was when Andy Cohen wanted her to address the Alibaba situation and asked her, you know, like about being accused of sourcing her jewelry line from Alibaba. Well, she said, and Ashley watched it too, and you guys did too. So if I say something wrong, please correct me. She said, no, what happened was I put this out there and my business partners and we put the site out there. This is carefully curated jewelry, but also some of our own creations. We created and curated this line because a lot of people want to know what jewelry I'm wearing, and a lot of people can't essentially afford her expensive jewelry. So this was a line to be affordable to everyone who wanted to partake in what Whitney had to sell. I think that's amazing. I think that things should be affordable, you know? However, when she went on and said that stock photo was up for 48 hours, we never go with stock photos. The stock photo was up for 48 hours until we decided to, or until we had a photo shoot. Unfortunately, at that time, we didn't have everybody in place for the photo shoot. But then once we did, we ended up swapping out the photos. The part that doesn't make sense is you saying that you used a stock photo that clearly shows what that jewelry is, right? But then also saying that you guys creatively designed this jewelry for the affordable market. You guys designed this jewelry. This is your jewelry, your creations. I don't understand that, because if that's the Alibaba, right?
Okay.
Stock photo, and these are the exact same pieces, right? And that stock photo was used on her site. Then how is that? How do you say that you created that line? That's the part that I'm not understanding. How can you say we sat back and we created this line? Has nothing to do with Alibaba.
First of all, as somebody who recently had a website upgrade, I understand. I did nothing because I am not smart in that way. Like Imani and I hired somebody to do that because that's out of our pay grade. With that said, during the transition, we had placeholders on our site. So for that, I'm like, okay, again, I wasn't looking to find fault in this. I mean, is that weird? Yes. I don't know what else to say to that. I understand using placeholders, but why would you have, I mean, why would you take a prism photo of a photo? Why would it look like Alibaba? Why would you want your prism photo of this curated jewelry line to look like something that is mass produced and cheap?
Well, and for a lot of you guys who don't know, and I know I've said this before too, if you ever find something say you're looking at somebody online and you're like, oh my God, look at Ashley right now, and you want to find out what she's wearing. If you screenshot Ashley, it's not always going to work out in your favor, but if you screenshot her and you pull that over to your desktop and then you go to google.com and you drag that photo into the search bar, it will most likely pull up what she's wearing and pinpoint different places on the internet where you can buy the products, the things that she is wearing. So that doesn't just apply for what somebody's wearing, that applies for a lot of things. And that's even how Catfish, that's how they found out how people were catfishing on the very famous MTV show Catfish with Neve, right? So it's not really hard to figure this out. I didn't think that the story made sense. I am going to leave it alone. I want her business to thrive. I don't think it's really not the end of the world. I think at the end of the day, Dana Wilkie, she put on the Patreon that Whitney Rose was sourcing her jewelry from Alibaba. And Whitney told me, and she's maintained since day one, I did not source my stuff from Alibaba. And then later, I believe, put a disclaimer at the bottom of her site saying that her pieces were carefully curated. And then we kind of left this alone. But the fact that nobody on those couches even thought to question this, I was like, either they didn't question it or it was edited out.
Right.
The math wasn't mathing for me on this, you know?
Yeah.
But okay, so let's keep it moving.
Yeah, I honestly, if they go back to it, it's it feels like a dead horse. I always do that wrong, beating a dead horse.
Yeah. Somebody called
walk
PETA.
away like it's dead.
Yeah. Well, and I honestly don't know how much more we can even talk about that.
What
at
else
this
is there
point.
to say?
There's nothing else to say. I I thought she looked amazing. I hope your business thrives. I hope you sell all of the jewelry, and I hope that it contributes to the mortgage of your new home and you just live and thrive. For those of you guys who don't know, the entire cast of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, minus Maylee Workman, will be back, and they start filming at the end of February. That is confirmed. A little disappointed, I think, that we are not adding Monica into the mix.
I was disappointed by that. And Britney only coming back as a friend of again.
Yeah, because Britney grew on me.
I think she'd be a monster as a full-time housewife, and I'd love to see it. Like, I think it would completely go to her head, and I would love to see it go down.
I also think that if Angie Katzenavas can do that sort of 180 that she did and come in hot, like she said, I went from bench warming bitch to first chair. It's like, oh, okay. I think Brittany Bateman is wild enough to make this happen. If you give her enough attention, it's like she is a performing seal. You know, like you give her an audience, you give her a ball, and she is going to do all of the tricks. And I think that we're missing a mark on that a little bit.
I agree. And Monica was a character this whole season. Why not bring her back? And that would, I mean, they're going to bring Jen Shah back, whether you like it or not. Jen Shah will be back. I don't see why they wouldn't. And they could still add Monica. You never know. But why not add Monica and then the following season bring Jen back into that? That's going to get a lot of hate in there. I know it, but I know how Bravo thinks.
I also think that Monica would never, you know, I've had these conversations with other people, and at first I didn't agree to this, but now I kind of do. I think that Monica will be somebody that they entertain bringing back on the show when Jen Shah is coming back. I think it's going to be a way to get under Jen Shah's skin. It's going to be, and I also think it's going to backfire. I bet you anything that Monica and Jen Shah become friends.
Oh, of course.
That's what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah. When you're the common enemy, yeah. I mean, they're going to be peanut butter and jelly as soon as she's out of jail. Plus, they both want to be back on the show desperately.
Yeah.
Fair enough. The whole show's about them anyway.
Well, and then this season, what else, just to kind of piggyback off of what we said during the finale episode, you know, you have the text messages. You have the things that were being said, like the threesomes, and there was a lot of vulgarity to it, right? Pertaining to Bronwyn and her relationship, I did not like that. Pertaining to Lisa and her marriage, I did not like that. And then I'm like, you guys, aside from calling people the B word, the worst thing that she probably did say on the show was that you're old to Lisa. And then she had reality Von Tease. This poses my next question. For Lisa Barlow, we got the topic of the cybersecurity team in this episode. Mm-hmm. What happened with the cybersecurity team? It was within the first 10 minutes, you guys. If Lisa Barlow, in fact, has a cybersecurity team, how did we not know who Reality Von Teese was that entire time? If they were actually attacking your friends, your family, your livelihood, and everything that was claimed. That doesn't make sense.
I mean, unless she hired them after that was exposed and she was like, oh my God, I need a security team. I mean, otherwise, yeah, no, your point is totally valid.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree.
That would be the only way that I could, you're right. I never thought about it, but you're right.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a fair question. But then I think that there's also a lot of lies that are being caught in this too. Mm-hmm. So as we're going through the episode, it's something that I really thought about and we talked about. Bronwyn Newport and her $4 million necklace.
Ooh, and I know I've always been a Bronwyn apologist, but no, girl, you got caught in a lie. She just doubled down on it, and the circle. We went the full 60, queen. I love you, Bronwyn, but this was not it. No, and Bravo Snarkside put this out there. Andy, I kind of thought you'd wear the $4 million necklace to the reunion. Bronwyn said, I thought about it, and Lisa said, I'm friends with him, and she said nothing was purchased. Well, I guess I'll have to go home and post my jewelry. A few moments later, same night. No, I have not bought anything from them. And I'm like,
Okay. So either one of two things happened here. One, production wanted to provide the glamour, the glitz, like the upper echelon of what these women can offer. And originally, why we even started watching Housewives back in the day, because it seemed so unattainable, right? Like
Right.
these are lives that we couldn't even
Right.
imagine living.
Yeah, of course.
You know, like a $4 million necklace. Most people don't even see $4 million in their life. Like,
Right.
legitimately, like most everyone, right?
No, Jennifer Tilly's purse is what I would like make in a year.
Right, exactly. And so the $4 million necklace, it was either one, that production really encouraged her to have this conversation and, you know, make it look like she was getting this like really over the top extravagant present. But if that were the case, what she should have done was, do you remember when PK took Dorit out and she dressed like Jessica Rabbit and he
The pretty
put the
moment, the
diamond
pretty
necklace?
woman moment. Yeah.
Yeah. And he said, well, don't get too excited. It doesn't belong to you. I didn't buy it. It's like, then we should have done that. Like, this was
Right.
given to us for the trip, blah, blah, blah. You
Right.
know, like I have other jewelry, but this is to make me feel like a princess because it's my anniversary. That would have landed so much better, because
Yeah.
now it just looks like if you were silly enough to go on a reality TV show, knowing so many people have been targeted. There was somebody from Selling Sunset who just got robbed, right? Mary, for over $130,000 in jewelry.
Oof.
Kyle, Dorit, so many of these housewives have been robbed for flaunting their wealth way before you were ever on TV. Why in the hell would you want people to know what is sitting inside of your home? Why?
I'll never understand. I mean, hello, the bling ring was based on a factual crime group. Like that was not made up. I have a big thing about letting everybody in all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought it would do. Well, I need to know your opinion. Who do you, I think? And I'm looking here. Thank you. The comments. Emma, the jeweler, the lady at the sales lady at the jeweler. Do you think she just called Lisa out of the blue and said, "Hey, guess what? Your friend didn't buy all this jewelry," or do you think Lisa was digging?
I mean, if I had to guess, I would imagine that somebody was digging for that information. I don't think that that was just volunteered. I also think that if you are a business like that selling $4 million jewelry and you are volunteering people's personal information, like that would be really silly. You know what I mean? I don't know why somebody would do that, but we had, I mean, I had an example of this the other day, and Jason will probably be like, why are you sharing this? And we were moving out of Charleston, and one of like our best friend, Lori, she ended up changing the people who were cleaning her house, and we moved everything out of our place, and we had to get here. And it was a big transition, and we ended up hiring the people who, you know, like made her house amazing to come and help us out because we needed to re-rent this house, right? And she sent me the Venmo request to pay the bill, and I said, okay. And it was not even 35 minutes later before I responded, but I was on a live and she didn't know that I was on a live. And I got a message from my friend, Lori, who you know, who was like, oh, they said that you haven't paid them yet. And I'm like, why would they? I looked at my Ring camera. They were gone for 30 minutes. Why would they message you? That makes me, even if I still live there, I wouldn't want to use you. Why would you share that? And also, here's the pay. Here's the tip. I'm not going to stiff you. You know where my house is. But that just goes, it's like, it sort of kind of proves the point of, I don't like when people do that if you're doing business, you know? I think it now creates like this narrative that people aren't doing what they should be doing when that's not necessarily true, you know? So
I have a feeling that like Emma, the sales associate, I have a feeling that she and Lisa were probably like friendly and like would talk and had like a good relationship, whatnot. And I bet Emma, just in a moment of shade, was like, oh my God, you're never going to guess this. And then when Lisa took that and just ran with it. I bet she didn't think about Emma's job, because honestly, if I was Emma's employer, she would probably not be working for me anymore at this point. Like, good luck
Unless
to you.
Emma owns the jewelry company.
Unless she owns the jewelry store, but I don't think that's I mean, I didn't get that impression from the conversation, but I mean, obviously, I'm not going to. That's not a hill I'm prepared to die on. I definitely need more information.
Not a heel.
No,
Vicky,
not for a healing journey.
Vicky said, Adam, why did Lisa chase down Bronwyn's daughter's family? She's mean and nasty. I'm going to let Ashley give me her opinion on this one first. I'm going to gracefully just let Ashley kind of take this one.
You know, I really don't know if I remember. I mean, like I said, I have family in town right now, so I was kind of distracted during the episode. I mean, Vicky said she chased down Bronwyn's daughter's family, and I remember them saying they knew each other. I don't remember exactly details, so I don't know. But if she chased down the daughter for information, that would make me think that it would not be that wild that she would chase down a jeweler for information too. Like, if that's what she's doing, if she's just looking around, like going around town looking everywhere for proof, receipts, timeline, screenshots, like, that's not fun. Like, that's not somebody that I'd personally want to be a friend with if they're just always looking to find dirt on me and everybody else.
But I think that Lisa said that she has been friends with that family for a long time, and she was also friends with Bronwyn's daughter's father before his unfortunate passing.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that they kept talking about him, I feel like he's kind of high profile.
Oh, okay.
With the way that they were saying it. But I also, thank you, Gina. We appreciate that. I did agree with Bronwyn with what she said and how she articulated the message by saying, if you feel like you don't owe me an apology for digging into something that I have protected my daughter from for 18 years, I have painted her father in a positive light. I have offered her the option to communicate with his family whenever she's ready. That has always been out there on the table. But then this was blasted out, and it was something that unfortunately Gwen didn't have control over the narrative because she is not contracted by Bravo. So by her mother putting herself on the show, it now affects Gwen. I think I agree with Bronwyn in the sense that if Lisa owes an apology to anyone about this, it would be Gwen.
No, that's absolutely fair. And honestly, Lisa wouldn't want somebody bringing up her kids into situations like that. So I don't know why she feels so comfortable. I mean, Gwen's not one of the housewives. She's not a signed person on the show. If you don't want people talking about your kids, which I respect, I just don't know why you would bring that up, especially family that's not with them anymore. And that's just, and this is something that hit really true to me, because I've been on both sides of this. I think many of us have been. I've been in friendships where I think we're closer friends than we are. And one person is like, oh no, you're just a casual friend. And I'm like, no, we're like decent friends. Like, we're good friends. I always think of Brandi Glanville and Denise Richards. Brandi Glanville really—
Well, they were really good friends.
They are really good friends. I mean, honestly, who cares? Somebody in the chat earlier said 2025, who cares? Like, honestly, who effing cares? Do you? But I just feel like the Brandi, like, really thought she and Denise were cool. And Denise, she's just Denise effing Richards. She's not friends with Brandi Glanville. They shot a TV show together. She's like, no, we like met a few times. We texted, whatever. I'm not going back into that story, but my point is that they are not on the same page about how close they are. And I was really, really happy that we were just able to understand that that was the Lisa and Bronwyn situation. Hey, Bronwyn thought they were closer than they were. Lisa's obviously not as invested in the relationship. In retrospect, after watching the season, Bronwyn sees it now too. So, okay.
I also agree with what they're saying here in the live chat when Yvette said this part was really low. This was talked about, and you saw where the husbands came out. I don't know if you guys remember last night, but we had a very activated Todd who was not happy with the Barlows because they were bringing up sensitive topics like this. And they were claiming, no, they did not. And John Barlow pretty much told Todd to watch his mouth and watch his tone. And Todd was like, looking back, like, I am used to running this shit. I am used to running a ton of employees and businesses. He is not used to being talked to like this,
Right.
you know?
Right.
And I was like, oh, Ashley's going to be all activated and whatnot. She's going to be like getting her socks off because Daddy Todd is popping off.
I mean, I don't think he was wrong. I really appreciated him and Bronwyn together saying how being on camera really changes things and makes you really introspective, and how they both need to make changes for themselves, for the good of their relationship and for the other person. I thought it was I really enjoyed that, because seeing yourself on camera really changes things. Like my husband's a guitarist, and he's been watching himself play a lot more. And it's funny, like the way you react to seeing you're able to give yourself notes on a different level watching yourself, right? Even though you're living in the moment, seeing it from that outside point of view is powerful. So I thought it was cool to watch them. I thought it was a very mature conversation. And I'm on Todd's side on that one. But look at how upset Lisa was. And I defended Lisa. I thought it was really low that Whitney brought up that text at the table about that third party. So I'm definitely like not I'm open to Lisa on a lot of things here, but that was just not it. Them going that hard on Bronwyn with her daughter, and none of that. Honestly, I think I'm kind of I do this when I'm like just not mentally in a great place. And it's something I've worked on. Like I kind of just tune things out if it's not something I can like kind of deal with. Right. And I think that whole miscarriage thing was just more than I just needed to handle. I think I've kind of tuned out Roni for the same reason. That Roni finale, I didn't even watch it, and it's just taken me out emotionally. Like I'm kind of just putting some things to the side right now because I just can't handle it emotionally right now.
No, there was something that I talked about last week and you got emotional about it. And this kind of goes back to, and I don't even mean to bring like the Monica and stuff back up. I just feel like it's so wild that we're holding so many people's feet to the fire, but the bar, I feel like, unfortunately, it is not set in stone. I think the bar changes based off of who you're talking about. I think even going back to the finale, we watched, and I had a conversation with a few people about this, but we watched multiple seasons of Mary Cosby eating Heather alive, calling her inbred, calling her all of these things.
I'm sorry.
That
was so mean. I love Mary Cosby. That was so mean.
It was terrible.
It was so mean.
It is so mean. Can you imagine? Like, even she doubled down. She's like, Mary, you really think I look inbred? And she was like, I do. I do. But then when the text message was read, that this mean, awful text message, because that's what we're doing. We're going around the table, the worst game that you could possibly play, I feel. And it would definitely hurt my feelings. It was, Heather being so successful and famous now, it has really gotten to her. And, she is so successful, and she's just like, she's in her prime right now with doing everything that she's doing. And I'm like, this is not a mean text. You saying that this is going to her head. It felt orchestrated. It felt calculated, and it felt like a way for Bravo and production to protect Heather Gay, knowing what we know about the future of her potential spinoff with Beauty Lab and Laser. It's the same thing. I'm really good friends with Leva from Southern Charm. She has Southern Hospitality. The difference is Leva, you're not going to find a skeleton in her closet. Trust me, like, she's just very straightforward. She has her cute little life, and she does everything by the book. And you're not going to get that from her. But I do feel like once you start adding spinoffs, just sort of like Candy Burris, you are protected in a different way, like Lisa Vanderpump, and even potentially Heather Gay. And I think that's why the text message about Heather was not a real text message. I think that this was made to make her feel, or make her appear to be this amazing person. But then we're watching in the episode last night where this is brought up and she starts getting emotional and she's like, like this show is not easy for your mental well-being and your emotional health and all of that. And I am really grateful with all of the opportunities and yada, yada, yada. I find Heather to be incredibly calculated. And I think that she knows exactly what she's doing on the show. I think that she is great at what she does on the show. And I think that she is an actress in the sense that she can put it on, knowing that this is what the fans will love. And I think there is the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City Heather Gay. And I think that there is the Heather Gay behind the scenes that a lot of the cast and production have to deal with that might not be as amazing.
Yeah.
So watching last night when they're like giving her all of these accolades, I'm like, what are we doing right now? Why are we kissing the ring? What is going on? Oh, it's the spinoff.
Right.
The only thing that makes sense.
I feel like she is the voice of reason. She is the anchor of the show. That's just kind of how it's been played out since episode 1. I mean, since episode 1, season 1. I mean, she was the pioneer. Like even in her tagline, it was about being the pioneer. I mean, I feel like she was like the kind of the head housewife at the beginning. And that's okay. I mean, there's a center snowflake every year, and not every year is going to be your year. And it would be boring if it was. That's what this is. Honestly, she had such a small presence on this episode, on this season. I mean, she didn't even go to one of the trips, and we hardly even saw. I mean, honestly, she had so little screen time. I wish one of those data analytic Instagram
where they
pages
show how much
would be, just go ahead and tally how many minutes they have. And I bet Heather's would be very, very small. And then on that last episode, again, she's the ringleader. She's the one who brings them all together. But she is the one who got that whole ball rolling, and it made her seem like the head snowflake. But again, just because, like, for instance, maybe you could even look at it like Patricia on Southern Charm or Lisa Vanderpump on Vanderpump Rules. Yeah, the show's like pretty much about them. It's like their world, but they don't necessarily have to play that big of a part in it.
Right. Sandy White said, apparently I missed a lot. I didn't watch this season. Off topic, when does Miami start? If you know, starts in May. So there's that. Brandy M said she's not the voice of reason anymore. She lost credibility.
That's a fair comment.
Brandy, I agree with that. I think that again, I think this is where we change the bar for different castmates. I think that many people would not get away with jeopardizing the livelihood of the cast and crew that worked so hard to put the show together, especially with the black eye situation, making it look like there was some sort of unmemorable or like unjustified physical assault on her with the black eye. And I think that I truly believe she knows exactly what happened. And I think that this was an easy out at the expense of a massive network and the people who are employed by it. I wasn't a fan of that.
Because she's embarrassed.
But
and
also
I appreciated her being so vulnerable, like, oh, I'm mortified, I have daughters. And in that moment, I was like, yeah, of course you're mortified. But at the same time, like, you can't do, like, at some point we have to own our shiz. Like, we are grown ass women.
Yeah. And I don't think that you always get to get away with all of this stuff. I think that I think at a certain point, your feet should be held to the fire. And I think it's just like what Erica Jane said at the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion. I think every once in a while, people really need to be held accountable for these situations. And you shouldn't, just because you're in a different, it sort of feels like a tier system, Like if you go back and you guys watch the Blonde Bombshell with Megyn Kelly, and you guys, or who played Megyn Kelly, and you guys see how the women were treated in these big newsrooms and how the men treated them and how the men got to get away with these things by asking the women to do certain things in order to elevate their careers. And for the longest time, these men got away with that. They got away with conducting themselves this way because there was no punishment. You got to do what you wanted to do because they were bringing in money, advertisements, ad dollars, revenue, and they were keeping the machine going. It wasn't until people started speaking out and really trying to hold their feet to the fire, that's when all of a sudden it got too big for these companies, and you couldn't put it it's like you couldn't put a silencer on it anymore.
Mhm.
And then now they have to be like, oh my god, something's wrong. Same thing with James Kennedy
Mhm.
on Vanderpump Rules. Kristen Doty claims that James Kennedy slapped her on camera right outside. I don't know if it was after the wedding. It was after a wedding, or it was in the back of Sir or something like that.
I'm
But
pretty sure it was after Sheena and Shay's wedding
right,
that they
that's what
were
it was.
leaving.
They were leaving,
Because
and it
she
was
hits him too, and the
she hits him
cameras
too.
show that, but that doesn't mean he didn't hit her just because we didn't see it.
Right. And I think that there was a long time of protecting somebody who they thought, oh, okay, well, this is somebody who we feel like is great TV and will
Mhm.
continue to keep driving the show. Same thing with Gary from Below Deck Sailing Yacht.
Ugh.
They loved him. And then finally, that producer who was like, absolutely not. I feel violated. This is incredibly offensive to me. It's triggering. It's violating my own personal space. And I'm going to talk about it. Now you can't control her because she is uh, what's it called? A what employee? What is it called when you do work? Oh my God. Is it
Like a
1099?
freelance?
Like a freelance.
Uh-huh.
Like a freelance employee. She was a freelance employee. And
Mhm.
then after she was done working on the show, she was like, no, I am going to talk about this. And I'm taking it to Rolling Stone.
Right.
And how do you
If she didn't sign an NDA, there's nothing stopping her.
exactly, what do you do? So it
Well,
just, it,
hashtag Me Too. I mean, the hashtag Me Too movement changed everything.
yeah, yeah.
Well, and also you mentioned that cable news show just recently on Netflix. They just put one of my favorite shows of all time, Mad Men. It takes place in the 60s and then early 70s by the end. And it's like a workplace drama. So seeing like women in the workplace, it's amazing. Wow. Best, honestly, one of my top 5 shows of all time.
Yeah. Even, I forgot what the show is called, and you guys will pop off in the live chat about it, but it's that show with Reese Witherspoon and Jennifer Aniston on
Is it
Apple.
morning show?
The morning show. Yeah. Where you get to see sort of it's like a fiction version of what happens behind the scenes because it's all scripted out, but clearly it's based off of workplace issues, if you know what I mean.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that this is somebody, I believe Heather is somebody who is heavily protected within the realm because I think that they have bigger plans for her. And I just feel like that is what it is. Whether people like it or hate it, that is the decision.
Right.
Yeah. So now moving on to somebody else who I just want to give my MVP of this entire season to. I got to give it to Mary Cosby. I mean,
Queen Mary Cosby.
wow, even the way she sits on the couch and she observes, and she's so not if you see her, this woman has fallen asleep on a reunion before. She has not showed up to a reunion, and now she is slouched over like, what is going on? Like, I don't even know. And she's not really like chiming in to rip anyone, but then when the moment comes up about her vulnerability and what she shared with her son, you
Mhm.
can see where this was one of the most impactful moments. And again, that poses another question for me to ask Ashley, and I guess all of you in the live chat. Where is that line, I guess? Because if you go back to old Roni, one of the biggest moments, or Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, it was Kim Richards' sobriety. Luann de Lesseps had to go to rehab. She got a DUI. She went in the wrong hotel room. She got out of her handcuffs. She told the police officer that she would kill them. Like, these were moments that felt like, oh my God, are we putting this on TV? And now we're seeing this amplified in a different way, where like the Roni finale this week was, I don't think that should have made it to air. You know, I think
Mhm.
that was a way to save ratings. I think that was a way to really boost the franchise. But I feel like that was so hard for so many people to watch that have been through similar circumstances. and felt really affected by that. And even that conversation, the way that you, again, last week, you could tell that you got emotional.
Mhm.
It's such a testament to what I'm saying right here, is like,
Mhm.
it really does trigger emotions in other people. What are we doing at this point?
Right.
It doesn't feel good. And that's not
Right.
why people watch.
Well, and I feel like also at the same time, we have these decisions and, oh, what's too much? Where's the line? Who makes the line? Who is the morality police here? Who's the person that dictates what's allowed and what's not? And there is no person, there is no line. And that's why it's so gray. And I think that's why there's shows like right here, what we're doing right now, Up and Adam, Hot Messy Topics. It's a gray area. It's a very gray spectrum. And what is allowed? What is too much? What is inappropriate? I couldn't believe how many people had a problem with Mary and her son sharing his journey, but it's their journey.
Do you remember on Salt Lake City? And guys, I always forget her name.
On what show? I'm sorry.
Salt Lake City. She was the one, she had silver in her hair. She went after Jen and she said, "You better be nice to me if you want me to put some money on your books, bitch." And like really went after her.
Oh, how do I not remember this person?
Because it's like mainly workmen. It's like, unfortunately, just one of those cast members who either really just got a bad edit or just really did not deliver to the show. It's going to take 3. I'm going to count down from 5, and I know it's going to be in the live chat. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What?
Strangely
Nothing?
quiet in the live chat. It's okay. We still love you. We can all still be friends. We're all blanking. We're doing our best here.
I can't believe I forgot her name. So it's the same thing with her. She thought by having that moment, and I believe she was pushed to have some explosive, it was another finale moment. She was pushed to have this explosive moment at the finale. And I think that she felt she'd be heavily rewarded for it. It came off
Was it
incredibly
Jenny?
aggressive.
Was it Jenny Wynn?
No, it wasn't Jenny Wynn, you guys. See, that is, hold on real quick. Real Housewives, City Star.
Well, it clearly didn't make that much of a moment if both of us, who are, I like to say, pop culture connoisseurs, if neither of us can remember and all of these active Adams family members popping off don't remember, she wasn't that memorable.
I
Point blank,
mean,
period.
yeah, guys, I guess we're not going to remember her name. See, that's even worse. That's worse. That's worse. But that's my point, was I believe she was told, you guys need to have this big showdown. I've seen this so many times. I remember season 2 of Vanderpump Rules. I was sitting outside. I was waiting for my shift to be over. Lisa Vanderpump came out smoking her cigarette, telling Ken Todd that the show is not going to be renewed. There's nothing happening for the finale. The big moment was Stassi ended up walking out. This past season, season 11 of Vanderpump Rules, the production crew, including, I believe, Jeremiah, ended up walking up to Lala Kent and telling her, "Listen, we have nothing. You need to break the fourth wall." And that's why she went in with the whole monologue of, "I've never seen somebody be cheated on and turn into God," you know? And that was a moment, but they knew they needed the moment. They did the same thing with the Salt Lake City woman. And she thought, yes, this is solidifying my spot. And it didn't. So that shows you the bar does not apply to everyone.
Right.
It doesn't.
Was it Angie Harrington?
No. I cannot believe you guys. This is so
Guys,
funny.
this is honestly hilarious.
I mean,
I feel bad for this woman. Honestly, like, this is probably very crushing to her as a human right now. And it's not nice. I don't want
Oh,
to
it was Dana.
Dana. Oh, she was friends with Monica. I remember I was like, who is this person? And then I saw her on a live with Monica and I was like,
Yeah.
was this woman on TV? Like, I really don't remember her. I remember her more from the live with Monica, or maybe it was Jen. I remember her. You know, as a girly going silver myself, I do love seeing the natural hair.
Yeah, that was her. And she was the one who came in like a bat out of hell on that finale. And she went in and went for the moment. and it backfired. And they were like, "Oh, thank you. We're good on you."
Ugh, it's like that like
Okay.
old Looney Tunes commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was bad.
The girl.
Wow. You could have hit me on the face with her mugshot, or not her mugshot. I'm so sorry. Her headshot. Her
Yeah.
headshot. Oops, slip of the tongue. Sorry. I was thinking about Jen Shaw. My bad.
Yeah. Yeah. But ay, ay, ay. Aside from that, though, we saw where Meredith Marks did say that she's coming in with receipts. So she was also congratulated on her bat mitzvah. We got two safe words, Bezos and Opa. And I mean,
I like that
even
Bezos came with emotion.
it just like I'm looking at the cast, I'm like, we didn't get much from Meredith in this episode. Heather Gay, we completely just praised her for all of her success. And okay. Lisa Barlow, her feet were held a little bit to the fire.
Uh-huh.
Angie Katanavis, was there something that I missed really about Angie?
No, we haven't gotten to her yet, really.
Yeah. Yeah, it seemed like we really didn't have time to address her in this episode. And I'm curious to see episode 2, part 2 of the reunion, and part 3. Again, I know Ashley said, "Well, Adam, I kind of actually I feel like okay, well, this is good." And I'm like, I'm not a glass half empty person, but I am definitely somebody who does not count my chickens before they hatch.
Fair.
And I don't count my dollars before they're in my pocket. And I think that this is one of those moments. I am still going to be waiting for the next 2 weeks to see exactly.
Cautiously optimistic. I like that. And
Cautiously
being
optimistic.
cautiously optimistic is somebody who just genuinely loves these shows. Stop it. We don't need any more. It's done. She said she doesn't source jewelry from Alibaba. Let's move on.
Yeah, yeah. And also, now we have a cybersecurity team.
We
So
have a
really, let's just find out who
We're
did it.
gonna go the distance.
I mean, honestly, and I even had this conversation with somebody the other day. Do you remember Diana Jenkins from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? Yes. Yeah. Yep.
I'm using my tongue. Sorry, that was disgusting. But like, what was up with her licking her lips? Like,
Well, a lot of people could say a lot of things about that. I don't know. Could just be a nervous tick. I don't know.
it could be a nervous tick.
It could be a nervous tick. You know, I don't know. Maybe her lip gloss tastes good. I don't know.
Did you use lip smackers back in the day? That shit tasted so good.
No, I've always been kind of a CarMax kind of guy.
Oh, you really
is it
missed out with lip smackers.
Maybe it's not CarMax. Is it CarMax?
The one in the little jug thing? CarMax, right?
Yeah, CarMax.
Well, CarMax is where you buy a car. It's something more than Max. CarMax is like,
Guys, we are just failing on this
what
today
is happening?
with the comparisons.
English is our first language, for the record. I'm not proud. Yes, lip smackers, Rusty. Those things were good. Like if I was on a diet, I'd be like, here, I'm just gonna like put a ton of lip smackers on today.
It's
CarMax. Not CarMax, CarMax.
CarMax. Yvette said, she said, Lisa has your number, so look out for the call, Adam. Unless somebody gave Lisa my number. She does not have my number. There clearly are other people on the cast who do have my number. But my point back to it, I just wanted to address that really quick, is Diana Jenkins was accused of being the person who hired the bots against Garcelle's son, who really heavily bullied her son on social media. She ended up enlisting her attorneys and sending a subpoena to Meta to get the data to figure out who was the person behind the attacks on Garcelle's son. She did find out. She passed over the information. I didn't love the way Garcelle handled that because Diana was like, look, it wasn't me. And Garcelle pretty much said, good for you. And I'm like, well, no, that is fair. She was accused of it. And she just said, it's not me. And she went the distance to figure it out. But it can be done. IP addresses, they're a thing. People, like unless you're using VPNs, and even those can be cracked and people can figure this information out. Yeah, exactly. So that's all I'm saying is enlist the cybersecurity team, find out who's behind the attacks, and let's put it to bed. We have the cybersecurity team. They're on retainer. Why wouldn't we just find out who are the people, or who is the person who is using the Claire account that's attacking Whitney's daughter and bullying her? Who is the person who is making these fake accounts that's sharing like about Alibaba and all of these things? Let's just find out.
Right. Well,
Put
you
it
know
out
what?
there.
While we're on this conversation, this didn't happen on the episode, but this week, between the finale and part 1 of the reunion, Dana Wilkie in real life dropped some receipts. Well, she didn't drop the receipts. She said she had receipts. And we have this on Taste of Reality if you go to the little search bar and look it up. But Dana Wilkie said that Heather has been a part of her Patreon. So basically, in other words, Heather pays to get Dana Wilkie's content. And she's been doing this for years. And Dana Wilkie said that Heather, in so many words, she said that Heather was the one spilling tea about the cast to her page. So Heather, according to Dana Wilkie, Heather was the one leaking this information the whole time.
Well, this is, since Ashley said it, let's play the clip. Here we go.
This is a big piece of the puzzle.
Like game that they were playing to throw me under the bus in the way that they kind of did Adam. Ooh, that really got me because I'm smarter than that. I've been in the Housewives racket for a long time. I know how it operates. So I was like, no, I'm not going to play this game. I'm going to change it up. And so now I'm going to tell you a big secret, which the Patreons know, which is Heather Gay was in the Patreon for many, many years, enjoying the gossip and content on all the Housewives across the franchises, but most importantly, the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City cast members. Because let's face it, my gossip is pretty damn juicy in there. So try watching that scene, Heather Gay as the gossiper that's been spilling all the negative tea, and see how you stomach it. Okay, see how that works out for you.
Thank you to Breaking the Rules pod clips.
Yeah. And somebody said, I missed it, but why didn't they add this in the show? The show didn't have that information. Thank you for that, Brianna. I think this is a good question. Why didn't that come out? This is something that Dana Wilkie has had in her back pocket this whole time, and she just felt like sharing this information. Again, I don't need to see receipts. If Dana Wilkie said that that's what happens, I'm going to go with it. Like, why not? I mean, hello. But and she said that she has the receipts. If she's been on her Patreon for years, that's all documented. That's all historical data that can be tracked, again, through IP. If she goes and wants to be cute, and if we're going to go the distance and she starts deleting things and whatnot, IP addresses can be searched and things that are deleted are found all the time.
And Mo Walker, I'm guessing Mo is on Dana's Patreon because she said Heather was showing off in the chat. I don't know. I am friends with Dana. I'm not on her Patreon. I was on it for like over a year, but I never really had the time to just listen to the full episode. So I didn't stay on the Patreon. That's not anything against Dana. She has incredible episodes on her Patreon, and
Does a great job.
she does a fantastic job. And I think that, yeah, that's something that I would be interested to hear more about. But I
wish that was something that would have been addressed.
Yeah, I do too.
But I mean, that's not Bravo's fault. That's nobody's fault, period. Dana had that information. She doesn't owe anybody anything. So she can do with her information as she pleases. And she just decided to put that out. And in retrospect, especially speaking of the Alibaba thing, that's where this whole thing came from. It seems was Heather. And this makes me think, last time we chatted last week about last week's episode, I asked, do you think Heather and Whitney's shared each other's, or did Heather share? Let me try this again. Did Heather and Whitney possibly contribute and collaborate to make that text that was read out loud saying, oh, because Whitney or Heather's text was about Whitney, and she even said, we even put your products in a beauty lab and it didn't sell a thing.
Yeah. Well,
Do you think that maybe put that in there just to be like, hey, we're addressing this, like, oh, the validity of your brand. Like, we're going to acknowledge that. We're going to bring it up to and then we're just going to, just wash it clear.
Last night when the episode kicked off with Whitney high-fiving Heather next to Lisa, I felt like that was a telltale sign of like, I think there have been multiple conversations going on behind the scenes. And I know for a fact, just being friends with a lot of the people who do these shows, that they do get together and figure out storyboarding and how they're going to maneuver seasons. Like any time that any of these shows are filmed, you guys, it doesn't matter what show it is. Normally what happens is production will go at least 2 weeks in advance. They will start hunkering down in their hotel rooms. They'll start meeting with the cast members. They start kind of like picking out different locations that they can shoot in. They ask them what's going on in your life? What's happening? They start storyboarding the whole thing. And then it's just a forever changing storyboard as the season goes on. And they have to keep maneuvering what that looks like. But the women of Potomac did this to Monique Samuels at Andy Cohen's baby shower. They knew that they were going to bring the question of the paternity of Monique Samuels' son, saying that it was not actually Chris Samuels, who was the father, or at least question that on the show, which obviously really hurt Monique. But that was something that was contrived way before they actually filmed the show. So yes, they do this.
Well, that, and I kind of forgot about it kind of reminded me of Sandoval at the very, very end of season 11 of Vanderpump Rules. After Ariana walked away, after Lala had her big final moment, and Sandoval, the last thing you hear was, well, that was good for me.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like, oh, you know what? This is how I think it's going to play. I think Whitney and Heather are smart enough to know the show works best when bad weather is a thing. The show works best when Meredith and Lisa are a friendship. The show works best when Heather and Whitney are a friendship.
Yeah, I agree. And I also agree with Vicky Harnish. Over 825 people in the room, guys. Almost 200 likes. Smash the like button. It is free. And yeah.
Only 20% of you.
Yeah, we're going to see.
Well, that's not 20%. Math is not my strong point.
It's 25, but yeah.
I was close.
No, it's not.
I'm not going to pretend.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Okay.
I'm better with words most days. Not today.
Yeah. Well, guys, we've been on for almost an hour and 10 minutes. Again, we have over 800 people in the room. Smash the like button, show some love. You guys know that Ashley and I have been following this since the beginning of the season. I cannot wait to see the next 2 parts of the reunion. So many things are happening this week. I hope you guys are available tomorrow. I did a video earlier. A lot of this is going to be in Hot Messy Topics tomorrow, addressing James Kennedy and the charges being dropped. Ali Luber announced that she has split from him. I think she did it in an incredibly classy and elegant way. But that it doesn't just stop there. There are so many other things. So if we can steal Ashley tomorrow, then absolutely. And
Monty's out of town. I'll check my calendar. Let me get back to you. I might.
But you also have family in town.
Huh? I do. Let me get back to you on that.
Yeah. And if not, then guys, we'll still be here. But yeah, we'll see what's going on. And aside from that, not the Diana Jenkins lip licking. I am excited to see how this continues to play out. I think it's going to be super, super interesting. But if you guys are not aware, we're going to make you aware right now. And I didn't even see this.
Okay, hold on. I didn't know Stephanie was JJ and Zach's mama. Hey, girl. Hey, thank you for coming over to TikTok the other day. Love you, girl.
She said, love you, girl. I didn't know.
Maybe Kim's not busy tomorrow. I miss Kim. I haven't talked to her. I love when this comes up. I haven't talked to her since Kathy Hilton's house.
I know.
Do you know what I thought of? There's going to be a time when I go up to a human and say, oh, hey, yeah, we met at Kathy Hilton's house.
Yeah.
And that'll happen one day.
You know, even when I reference it too, and I have conversations with like friends and family about, sometimes I kind of just forget all of the exciting things that are happening because sometimes it just feels like incredibly dramatic. Like this week, I'm not going to lie, and pleasantly surprised unless I miss something. I'm like, I do not want to continue this back and forth with Teddy Mellencamp. I just really did not. And lo and behold, I have not heard a word, not a peep. And I'm like, okay, here we are. This is good. We're not beating the dead horse. We're leaving it alone. This is a nice feeling. So
Right.
let's continue on.
Honestly, what else needs to be said?
It is 2025. Well, nothing. At that point, it would just be like a melee. And it's like, then you got to let me know because then I got to plan getting my coffee. I got to go. It's like a whole system. I don't want that. I'm in my be kind era, my calm. I'm in my happy place, except for the fact that we're covered in snow. Pippa's definitely in her happy place, you guys. She loves the snow. She's definitely a snow dog.
So I started following Jason on Instagram, and he had a picture with Pippa out in the snow, and it was just so cute and beautiful.
It was actually, I don't know if I'm gonna see if it'll let me bring this up really quick. It was funny because people were making fun of yesterday me trying to. Here, I'll just play it for you guys really quick. This was yesterday, you guys. Oh my God.
Is there anything coming over here?
No. Jesus Christ. This is, how do you get that off?
It's gonna be a problem. And it's not a problem.
I feel like your husband needs to be hanging out of the window.
I'm sorry.
Well,
I'm not trying to be annoying.
What happened was, are you in just a second? Are we done with the?
Oh, all of it from the top came on.
Yeah. So what happened was everything from the top of the car, all of the ice, people were wondering, like you and Jason weren't silly enough to drive down the road with the whole windshield covered. That is not what we did. It was a thick layer of ice, not even snow, like not anything you could wipe down. It was thick, hard, and like frozen to the top of the car. And as we were driving, all of a sudden you hear boosh down the front, and we're like, eh. And this is why everyone keeps asking about, you know, like, oh, well, you're walking in the snow and why you could just drive down the streets. No, you guys don't understand. I'm not a good driver. I've been very vocal about that. I'm an awful driver. If you ever see me on the road,
In good weather.
just stay away from me on the road. I'm not a good driver. It's terrible.
We can't be good at everything.
We can't, you know, I even went to driver's ed. Why don't you go to driver's ed? I did go to driver's ed, guys. I've done everything. It's just not my forte. It's not my thing. Anything with a pedal or a motor, I have no business being around. That's all. Oh, see, look, Stephanie knows. No, Adam, do not drive, please. Yeah. See? Okay. All right. So guys, going back to it, Ashley's going to tell you really quick what they have going on over at Taste of Reality. And then we're going to show you where you can find her on Instagram.
Okay, so we have tasteofreality.com. Please make sure you're checking out the website. I don't know if you saw, and in fact, I went to Schwartz and Sandy's when we were in LA, again, for Kathy Hilton's Christmas party. After you left, I went to Schwartz and Sandy's and I asked, what are you guys going to do with the sign? And they said they hadn't decided yet. Well, we found out today that it's for sale. And I can't wait to, number one, find out how much that sign gets sold for. And number two, you've been to Schwartz and Sandy's, correct?
No, I never went.
Oh, you never did? I want to know, what are they doing with the mirrors? The mirrors at Schwartz and Sandy's in the bathroom were the greatest things I've ever seen in my life. And I would really, really like that. So Schwartz and Sandy's, I might need to look into that. But you can, and it's so funny. It was so clear that Schwartz wrote the post for the sale. They said something, the wording he used was so funny about the checkered history or something of the restaurant. It was very funny. But I don't know if you saw last night on Watch What Happens Live, Julia Fox was on and she threw out casting her and Anna Delvey on Housewives of New York. And I am going to tick a lot of people off, but I'm here for it.
Oh, see, you know what? And this is why I love doing this with you guys. I watched Julia last night, and she is very like this and very performative and this. And I'm like, this would not, the star power would not land with the audience, because I think that it would be very focused on the looks and how we're doing and less authentic. Also, though, I don't really know how Roni could get worse right now. So honestly, just cue in them. Let's just cue them in. I agree. Let's just do that. Let's just bring in Julia Fox and Anna Delvey. Anna Delvey, too, would just come on and be like,
Nothing.
you guys are so poor.
You're so poor.
And it's like, no, actually, you really are so poor. And she'd be like,
Did you know she lives with Kelly Catrone?
But you, how? Like how?
That's where she lives on her house arrest, is with Kelly Catrone. They have a house together in upstate New York. Well, she lives with Kelly, and they have a show coming on that they described as Green Acres and Gucci boots.
I saw that.
Isn't that what The Simple Life is?
Okay, but Anna Delvey comes from The Simple Life.
Right.
Like, what? But listen, I'm not against
what universe are we in here, guys?
It's honestly,
Greyhound Girls has to pee. We got to get moving, boo.
I mean, and also too, just real quick, it's like us turning Gypsy Rose into a celebrity. You know, it's like, I don't necessarily understand why the world works the way it does, but I know that some of you have to pee, so we are going to get moving. Let's go to the next one. Taste of Reality on Instagram. Ashley, if they don't know, will you let them know?
Make sure you go to tasteof_reality. Imani and I are always sharing our opinions on there too. So pop off there. And TikTok is a whole thing. I'm so glad it's back, but I deleted it from my phone and I can't get it back. So we're trying our best, and we are out tomorrow for Traders. Imani's out of town. I've got a lot going on, but we'll be back for a double episode the following week.
Sweet. And guys, like I pinned in the live discussion. Thank you to all of you. I have seen the orders coming in for theblowcompany.com. I hope you guys are still doing the Blow Challenge, Blow Not Booze, where we are getting rid of our alcohol. We are sleeping better, reducing our anxiety, feeling better. But if you guys have not, then please go to theblowcompany.com. You can see right here where if you sign up with your email, you get 15% off. You can go check out the products. Of course, we're going to continue to expand products, but at the end of the day, if you have received your orders, we would love for you guys to just go and leave us a review and let us know what you think. But with that, we've been on for an hour and 20 minutes. Happy Thursday, everyone. We love you so much. Go to tasteofreality.com. Check out the live discussions, because Ashley and Imani are working their tails off, and we will see you later. Love you guys. Bye.